We're talking long rails, hand signals, and barrel length on this episode of Mondays. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mondays, the show that brings you all the answers to your questions, a few tech tips, and makes your Mondays just a little bit on the brighter side. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs. So guys, it has been a long weekend for me. I just got back in town, was actually in Florida doing the Air Shooting Masters, not even airsoft related, real firearm shooting masters tournament. Wasn't competing, I was just there actually helping out, but it was so cool. Got to see all kinds of really neat stuff, including an M249, yep, the real one. But had a ton of fun down there, but I am a little darker, so don't adjust your screens. Yeah, probably got a little bit of a suntan going on for once. Finally got out and did something. But now I'm back playing catch up, but we've got a full episode of Mondays ahead of us, so let's get started with the questions. Ben writes, I'd have the hardest time deciding to run a multicam plate carrier or a coyote brown one. I'd like to hear your personal opinion on the two, as I think you've run both. Yeah, actually I do have both, and I even have a few others. If you only have one carrier and that's all you're gonna pick out, definitely go with the Coyote Brown. Stick with a solid color that's in the neutral palette. Brown, OD, Ranger Green, anything in that category is gonna work out for you. Simply because if you're going to big ops, or like at our field we play different shirt colors, having a solid color is gonna give you a lot of variety. So let's say you're playing on the tan team and the other team uses multicam, let's say. Well, if you run a multicam plate carrier, chances are you're gonna get friendly fired a lot, and that's gonna suck. So definitely stick with the solids. They work over everything. And once you start building up your collection, yeah, then sure, go ahead and pick up some camo stuff. But given the opportunity and you only can pick one, I would definitely go with a solid color like that Coyote Brown. Mr. Jaloy1 writes, what do you think of cryptic camo? Is the Highlander perhaps too light to forest environments? Greetings from Finland. You know, I really like the cryptic camo. I think it's a really cool pattern. Personally though, I have trouble bringing myself away from multicam and then buying a whole new pattern and having to get all new pouches and everything to go along with it. That's really the challenge here. At some point you kind of hit camo max and you've really hit the wall. As for the pattern itself though, with the Highlander, it's a good transitional pattern. That's what Highlander's for there. So it's gonna really fall in that multicam type category. Definitely want to step down to one of the more green patterns if you're in more evergreen and woodland areas. I'm not sure where the terrain is in Finland, what it's like, what kind of trees you have and foliage. Here in Tennessee though, in the summers, it gets really green. Multicam works well, but you can also step up to things like AOR2 here. You can also go to some more of the darker green colors, solid green like Ranger Green, like we mentioned earlier in the plate carriers. All those work really, really well, or even Marpat. Those are great patterns for the more wooded and lush and green. The guys out west in California, they're more desert, so they're gonna run toward the tan. But in doubt, just go ahead and grab something transitional. Highlander is gonna work out good for you. I think it's a really cool pattern. I love the design and the pattern on it, and I think it works really well. Side by side to multicam, who knows, it may be better. Stafford DC35 writes, stop talking with your hands, it's so annoying! No exclamation point. Sorry, Stafford, I'm really sorry I'm bothering with the hand talking, but please don't yell at me in the comments. It hurts my feelings. Aaron Collini writes, what are the effective ways to keep eye pro from fogging? I simply can't invest in expensive goggles with a fan or something like the Dye i4. What can help even mediocre goggles keeping from fogging? You know, I've tried a bunch of anti-fog options, everything from just kind of spitting on the lens to all the way up to the high-end stuff and the special wipes. I have found one that really works for me very well, and they're actually the wipes from Revision. The Revision anti-fog wipes, they come in a little packet, you tear it apart, a little towel on the inside, and use it to clean your goggles. For me personally, I find it does the best job in getting rid of fog. Now, it's not gonna get rid of humidity when you're dealing with that. I mean, it's still gonna be moisture, there's gonna be drops of water like coming down on the inside of your goggles, but it's going to eliminate the fog portion of that. At least you can see through it. Might be a little on the blurry side because of the water, depending on how much you're sweating and how much moisture is in there, but it will eliminate that to a point and at least make it so you can see. You do need to reapply every couple hours, but one of those wipes is good for like 30 or 40 or something like that tries, so it'll be more than enough to last you even through a weekend of airsofting. If not those, check out thermal goggles. There's a bunch of companies that make little thermal pain goggles. I even think companies like Vulcan, Voodoo Tactical, and the like are making goggles that have thermal pain lenses in them that are around $40 or less, and those are really good options. If you look for that thermal option, you're gonna get a set of goggles that are gonna be very fog resistant. They're gonna do a great job because there's a gap of air between two lenses. Not to get all sciencey on you or anything like that, it just does eliminate the temperature change, the drastic change between the two sides of your goggle, and therefore minimizes the fogging. Noah Taylor writes, do you have a suggestion for a full metal rail system that would fit my KWA KM16BR? One that can go on without having to remove the delta ring, please. Yeah, actually there's a couple good ones depending on what you're looking for and depending on how much you want to spend. One of them out there if you want to go on the high end, but you're looking for a metal rail system, Black Hawk makes a long quad rail that is a two-piece system, and I'll have a link in the show notes below if you guys are interested in that. It's a little bit over $100 though. I think I've seen it as cheap as like $99, but you can find them all over the web up to about $150. It snaps in without having to do anything. You take the plastic can guards off, and then you put this one in its place. But remember, any of the two-piece ones are gonna be a little loose and a little wobbly. I mean, that's just the nature of that, so don't expect to put it on and have some amazing rock solid rail system. The other option, which is a lot more affordable at around $40, is the Magpul MOE handguard. Now I know it's polymer and it doesn't have rails, but they do sell rail sections to go along with it that you can add on. Now that one will snap right in place as well, and I found the Magpul ones do a good job because the way they designed it and molded it, it fits in around the delta ring, little notches in it, and it keeps it from rotating too much to the left or the right. So that one, but then again, on top of that $40, you have to buy some rail sections or a vertical foregrip that can screw in there in the MOE category. So that could run you up, depending on the accessories you're looking for, $70, $80, even $90 there. But those are two options if you don't want to have to take your delta ring off. Well, that's it for the questions this week. I hope I got them all in, and don't forget, if you guys want to get your questions in, just put them in the comment section below down here, or PM me them on YouTube, and I will try to get them answered in the next show. And if you see a question that's asked down below that you like, make sure to thumb that sucker up and get it to the top of the pile. That way I can see it, and we'll make sure we get it in on the next show. But time to move on to tech tips. This week's tech tip comes from Blardman. Jonathan, does a length of a barrel increase accuracy of an airsoft gun, even in small increments? Example, 357mm and a 366. I personally think it does increase accuracy, but a few guys I've talked to says it doesn't increase accuracy. All right, when you're looking at accuracy in an airsoft gun, there are a lot of factors to take into account, and barrel length is one of them, but in time, even barrel length can harm accuracy as much as it helps accuracy depending on how everything's set up. You're looking at a bunch of factors. First off, at the FPS of your gun. Obviously, the more power it's putting out, in general, the less accurate it's going to be. Now again, I'm gonna be working in generalizations. I know there's a lot of you guys that hang around these like airsoft tech forums that are all hardcore, that get heavy duty into the physics. I'm skirting the top here, so don't kill me in the comments. But yeah, so FPS as you move up is typically going to have some effect on your accuracy, and normally that's a negative way. It's going to cause a little more turbulence, a little more extra air coming out, and a little more variation in your shots, especially when you're using the same weight BB as you step up. So the first thing, more than we get to the barrel, is step up those BB weights. I can't recommend enough. If you guys want to get some accuracy in, before you go doing anything, move to a heavier weight BB. If you're at 2s, go to 2.5s. If you're at 2.5s, go to 2.8s. Walk it up until you get the accuracy you're looking for. That's only going to get you so much though. But to get to your question, barrel length versus accuracy, in general, yes. A few millimeters, probably not. I mean, if you're looking at different barrels, if they're all the same inner diameter, adding a few extra millimeters to the end, like 10, you're probably not going to see accuracy out of that. If you do, it's going to be because of one of those other factors I mentioned, like you reset your bucking and it's in there better, or your hop-up nub, you actually got one of those H-style hop-ups, or a flat hop, or an R-hop, or something along those lines. that adds more of a contact patch around the BB, maybe hugging the sides and allowing that BB to fly straighter or get a better, more consistent backspin that's more on center line instead of off axis, which is going to get that BB flying more consistently straight. You can deal with too long of a barrel and have vibrations where the BBs actually cause drag and it bounces in the barrel as it goes along, so there's no more acceleration, and it can actually hurt you at times if you go too long. So you're not going to want to get a stock Marui, let's say at 285 feet per second, throw a 600 plus millimeter barrel in there and expect to be driving nails at 100 yards or even at 150 feet. And again, a good case in point here is too, I mean, like for example, a Marui VSR 10, let's say, has a very short barrel, to be honest with you, for an inner barrel that for a sniper rifle. I mean, that hole in there is like a foam suppressor on it. So you're looking at an inner barrel, it's like not much bigger than an M4, but it's extremely accurate at range. And that's a tight bore and a good hop-up system in that rifle. So again, if you're looking to get that out of it and you're not seeing the performance you thought you'd get because of some, incredible barrel that was gonna go in here, make sure everything else is lined up. It's not just one piece to the puzzle. It's not just barrel length. It's not just barrel tight bore diameter. It's a lot of factors that go into accuracy. So I hope that helps answer your question. I know I kind of gave you a lot of answers and a lot of variables on that, and we'll dive into some of those others. Like I said, we talked about hop up. We'll talk about tight bores and their effects, and also different types of BBs. But yeah, not just that. Remember, BBs, barrel length, barrel diameter. There's a lot of factors that go into accuracy. Well, that's it for tech tips, and that means it's time for the video recommendation of the week. And this one comes up actually from Elite Force Guns, and I had to watch it. The title kind of grabbed me. iPhone 6 Sapphire Crystal versus HKM27. I won't give it away, but you guys give it a watch. Tell me what you think in the comments below. But nothing beats slow motion, the destruction of an iPhone, and an airsoft gun. So yeah, give it a good look. It's worth the watch. And don't forget, if you guys have questions, remember, put them in the comment section below here or send them to me in a private message on YouTube. I'll be able to use those in a future episode. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook for the continuing conversations here from Airsoftology Mondays and all of our review videos we do. And of course, we've got a busy schedule ahead of us. I have so much stuff in the supply room downstairs and in the studio. We're gonna be really cranking up the reviews. And in fact, if you guys are looking here and you're wondering what are these things, yeah, those are gonna be on the review list, as well as a ton of other cool stuff you guys watched last week. You saw some of them, and I have even more down there that I'm not even gonna show you quite yet. But guys, again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please hit the share button and get this out there. That really helps me out a bunch. And I will see you next week on the next episode of Airsoftology Mondays, or the next 2 review videos this week. So stay tuned on Wednesdays and on Fridays. But until then, play hard, play fair, and call your freaking hits.